Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are doing well. We are in the lecture 11 of mobile application development course, and we were discussing newsreader app, and probably we have done the difficult part. Now to it is our job to now further move on and complete this stage, because we are almost done and we are at the last stage. Remember that in the previous lecture were uh, we were doing like we were creating list view adapter, array adapter, and then uh, our how to like link array adapter to the list view, and then we also defined our source, which was array list. So, and then the hard part in the hard part uh, we were like establishing connection with our server through APIs, and then after that we were reading our data, and then we were converting our data in the form of bytes to the character and storing them in the string. So first we displayed the IDs for different news articles, and then we agreed on this term that uh, we are only interested in displaying we are only interested in title of the article and the URL, and we do not want to like we will not bother about the rest of the information in the JSON text format. So in the last lecture we displayed the fully we displayed, if you notice, we displayed or we retrieved the full HTML code for each news article. Now in this lecture we are going to create our database, because there is no database yet, and then we are going to store the news article in the database. We are also going to read the news articles from the database. We are going to project the news article to the list view with the help of array adapter, and then we are going to use explicit intent to view each news article in a different activities, and for that we will be using web view in our second activity. So with that, let us jump into the code, which is which we left here in the Android Studio, and you can see that we have so far written a lot of code, but now it is time to create the database. So I'll go at the top in our main activity class, and here I'm going to create SQL Lite database, and the name of the database should be meaningful. I'll call it article DB. All right. So in onCreate method we are going to let me go into the onCreate method. In the onCreate method we are going to create this database. So article DB assignment operator, this or you already know how to create a database. Open or create a database. If we already have this database with the name of articles, then that will be open. So and if we do not have this database, so a new database with the name of article will be created. The second thing is mode private. So mode private means that only our app will be able to use or to access this database. The third parameter is null for cursor factory, and then moving ahead we are going to create a table inside our database. So you know how to create a table. So article DB dot execute SQL, and here I'm going to write a lengthy instruction, but stay with me because this is the SQL which you have learned in the previous classes. So I'm going to write create table if not exists, and the name of the table is articles. Be careful with the spelling, and then we are going to give it attributes. The first one is integer id, which is integer, and it is also a primary key. And let us move on. The second one would be article id. So let me write article id, and it is of course integer. And moving on, we are going to have another attribute, and that would be, okay, let me see, article id, and then we will write the attribute, I think it is title. Yes, the title, because we are interested in the title, so it is a variable character. And then the last one will be, let me think about it, I think it will be the content type. Yes, the content of our URL. So this probably will be content. Okay, let me remove the caps lock, and then content, and content is nothing but variable character. So it's a long line, but after execution of this statement, we will be able to create a table having the name of articles, and then it will have uh, a primary key id, a primary key, and then article id as an integer, and then the title, and then the content. Remember, the contents are the contents of the HTML contents of each news article. And then after that, that we created a class called download task. So these things normally happens at the background. We are going to fetch the data with this URL, and then after that we are going to parse our data, that is getting only the title and the URL. But really, we want to somehow, after getting all this information, we want to display, we want to we want to save it in our database. So for that, I'll go down, and let me close it, and here I'm going to write a query which will be, let me see, okay, I'm going to write query, so it will be string SQL, and then we are going to insert something into our database, and that will be, the first will be article ID. So let me start inserting it. So insert into articles is the name of our table, and then we are going to give it the values. So the values are article ID, article title, and content. So with that, we are going to, okay, so we have, that we already defined article ID, we have the article ID, and then we have the title of the, which is the title of the news article, and then the content where we are going to display it represent what we want to display. And then after that, I am going to write a very special statement this is called value, and for the moment I won't be inserting any values. Later on we are going to insert these values manually. So just to put 3 question marks here, like it is a type of syntax whenever you want to insert some data later on. But for now let me close this statement and moving ahead. And the next thing that we are going to do is to uh, you know is to somehow get those actual values. But for that I'm going to write another statement, and that will be SQLite statement. So SQLite statement. So do not hurry, like go slowly and gradually, but remember to understand what you are doing. So I'm going to write article db, and then write compile statement, and here you can pass on your SQL statement and then put semicolon. So we are going to use this SQLite statement in order to insert data inside of our table. So for that we are going to move ahead, and then we are going to write some statement, and those statements normally uh, starts with having they have index of 1. So the first one is like we are bind string, and then the index starts from 1, and the first thing is article ID. So article ID will be inserted here. The second will be bind string article title. So that is article title, so we know what the article title is. And the third statement is statement dot bind string. So whatever we are doing here, we are inserting the data inside of our database. So we already have retrieved all of our web content from that API, and now we are permanently storing these information that we want inside of our database. So we write statement dot bind string. So it will like what does that mean? It means that one represent this question mark, so ID will go here, article ID will go here, article title will go here, and article content will go here. So unlike array which starts from 0, so you like the index starts with 1. And not to forget to execute this statement, because a lot of people forget to execute, and then they have problem in inserting data inside their database. Remember that SQLite is a lightweight database, so it is not graphical user interface, so you have to do a lot of work. But hopefully there are some other techniques which we are going to study later on, so that allows you to use graphical user interface to store your data inside your database. So we have inserted the article ID, article title, and the article content. The next thing would be to let me go up, and yes, here we are going to write that when we are going to execute our okay, here we are going to write that if already we have some if already we have previous articles, then we want to remove it. So for that I'm going to execute execute another SQL statement, and that will be delete from articles. So it will delete whatever we have articles inside of our articles table. So this is necessary because every time we made connection with our web server with through that API, we want to make sure that we have the latest news article content that we want to display. All right, with that I'm going to once again go up, and let me come over here, and below this on create method, remember this is, like you can see here, this is on create method. Be careful of these parentheses. I'm going to write here so okay, I'm going to write here, I'm going to define another method, and that would be public void update list view, because we also want to update the list view every time we have a connection with a web server. So here I'm going to write some code, and you people can go along with me. All right, so we want to update the list view, but for updating a list view, we are going to fetch the data from our database table, and then inflate it with the help of array adapter, inflate it to the list view. So for that I'm going to say go and create a cursor C, and let me once again take the data from our database and select static from articles, and then you can give a null as a second argument. Alright, and then after that I'm going to define some index. The first one is content index, there is no space. So this is really very complex coding, but you are in sixth column, and you are also heading for your project, so you most probably you are going to write similar type of code in your FIP. So do not feel scary, and do not get tired of this code, because it is useful and it will help you in your FIP and also in your professional life. So c.get column index, put title over here. Okay, so with that so these are indexes. So content index will get the content column, and the title index will get the title column. So whenever we are fetching data from the database, you know that we have to define indexes that corresponds to the columns inside of our table. So alright, with that I'm going to parse through my database, and then make sure that I am at the first record. So move to the first, So if there is some record at the first row, so go and title dot clear it, and similarly for content you, so it is, you also make sure that you have no you have no data inside your titles as well as inside your content. So call clear method on it, and the content is giving us some error, but just leave it. I'm going to see that whether if there is some misspell. So content is okay. Okay, there is a column name. Okay, we are going to figure it out, but I think we should move ahead, and I'm going to after that I'm going to write a do while statement. So do titles dot add. Now we are going to have get a fresh copy of our title. So that is nothing but title index semicolon, and the next statement would be, yes, it will be content. Content dot add. So there is some typo with the content, but we are going to see it in a moment. So the next thing is c dot get string. We are going to get content index. Okay. Do not forget writing the while statement in the very last. So here we are going to write move to the next, because after fetching the first record we are going to move to the next and to the next and to the next and so on. So here we are getting some problem, and that is with yes, and that is with the content. So content, so let me scroll up and let us see whether, so we have defined an array list titles bit, but we forgot to define array list of type string with the name of content. So that is why the content was giving us an array. So new array list, and that's it. And if you scroll down, you will see that that error has gone. Okay, so you can see we were like we want to have two types of array list. The first array list would contains the title, and the second array list would contain the content. So with that we are going to, like here we are going to fetch each title and content record, and then put it in the array list, which are titles and content, and then we are going to call upon our array adapter, and we are going to say look that there is some change in the data source, so go and notify it to the list view. So I think that is it for today's, for the current lecture, because we are already running out of time. So in the next lecture we are going to complete this code, and hopefully we are going to run it and see how our apps look when we finished it completely. So till then, Allah Hafiz.